Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're right after 6 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. On behalf of the Harvard College of Business and the Supply Chain Program, I'm excited to welcome you tonight to learn more about our Master of Supply Chain Management. My name is Jordan Holliday. I am the Director of Graduate Recruiting for the Harvard College of Business, so that encompasses all of the graduate programs that we offer within the college, including our MBA and specialized master's programs. Leading the session tonight is going to be Dr. Ishfaq, who's a professor and director of the Supply Chain Management graduate program. So you're going to hear from him throughout the session tonight. And then I also just want to introduce April Hurley. April is not joining us tonight, but should you enroll in the program, April would be your advisor that you would work with on registering for classes and any questions that you have throughout the program. Now tonight, if you do have any questions, I'm going to ask you to put them in the Q&A section. There's a lot of different ways you can ask questions, whether that's chat or Q&A or raising your hand, but let's just keep them all in the Q&A section for now. If it's something that I can answer as we're going along, I will go ahead and answer that for you. If not, we will get that answered at the end of our session tonight. But for now, I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Ishfaq, to get started.
Thank you, Jordan, and welcome everybody to today's webinar in which we will be talking about the Masters of Supply Chain Management program at Auburn University. The focus of this session is to give you background information, some program-related details, and take you through the different features of this program that is offered by Harvard College of Business at Auburn University. So we will try to touch on all of these bullet points that you see here on the screen, and then leave sufficient time at the end for you to ask questions. Between me and Jordan, I think we will be able to answer most of your questions. So let's get started and start a conversation through the advantages of Auburn's Masters in Supply Chain Management. And I think one of the biggest things that is attracting a lot of applicants like yourself to Auburn's Masters Supply Chain program is the elite national reputation that our university holds in the space of supply chain management. If it's about research, our faculty is renowned and award-winning researchers and scholars that are very well respected in the academia. If you talk about our graduates, you will find one or the other Auburn undergraduate or master's graduates working in industry in all facets of supply chain management. We are very visible in the professional space in terms of leadership in international and national associations, and all of these things together has offered or brought visibility to our program. It's one thing for us to talk about the recognition of our program and talk about how good we are. But if others sing praises of the program, then that's really, it means something, right? So that's where we are very proud that our master's program has been recognized in national rankings. The US News ranked us at number 12 among public universities, and a supply chain specific organization called Gartner, they rank undergraduate and graduate programs in North America, and they put us in the top 25 graduate programs as well. So one of the advantages that you would get by becoming a part of the Auburn family is to get a top-notch education from a very, very well-reputed supply chain management educational university. The program overview is that we offer this master's degree both on campus and in an online program. We will touch on these two different formats in more detail later today. But one thing I would point out quickly, that our online degree format is very tightly coupled with the on-campus degree format. In fact, you get the exact same lecture materials, same professors, and same educational experience. The curriculum that we have designed is centered squarely on you, the candidates and degree holders that would be able to use the knowledge that you would gain in this master's degree and apply it directly in practice. And that's one of the advantages of coming to Auburn, that our graduate curriculum is practice-oriented. It is set up based on the needs of the industry. And through our industry contacts, we constantly keep an eye on what new skills or new aspects of education are needed, and we will update our curriculum accordingly. So as you can imagine, this can only happen if the faculty and the university have a very close engagement with practice in industry, and we have the same advantage we offer to our students. The other advantage of the master's program at Auburn University is the networking connections and the Auburn network through alums and our supporters in the industry. And because we have been in supply chain education for a very long time, we have some very deep and close connections with executives in the supply chain roles, middle management, and entry-level places where a lot of our graduates are currently serving. From the standpoint of curriculum, this master's degree comprises 10 courses. These are split between required courses and some elective courses. This degree is a non-thesis master's degree. What that means is that you are required to complete the coursework to earn the degree. There is no thesis that goes with it. Thesis option is usually for programs that have a research component. So ours is a very practice-oriented program, so we don't require a thesis to complete the master's degree. The program can be completed in typically 3 semesters. So in a year and a half, you can complete the master's degree on campus. Online students take a little longer because of the flexibility that our program offers, and they typically take 2 courses per semester, and in that way they can complete the program in 5 semesters. If you look at the course listings, you would notice that our curriculum is broad, and it covers all the major and key elements of the supply chain management discipline, from inventory and warehouse management to supply chain planning, supply and sourcing, manufacturing, demand management, strategy, operational excellence. Our curriculum provides a very wholesome and a broad training in advanced concepts and theory of supply chain management. In addition to required courses, you will also have the opportunity to take elective courses that are around additional supply chain training, or it could be courses in business analytics, information systems, and management. We offer courses in leadership, in ethics, in sustainability. So there is a wide range of different course options that you can tag on to the required courses as part of your master's education at Auburn University. There are 2 formats that we offer our master's degree in. One is on campus and the other is online. The campus program is a cohort program where you join a group at the start of your program, either fall or spring, and then you all take courses together to all the way up to graduation. And that's the process through which you build relationships with your peers, and many of these relationships turn into lifelong friendships and work colleagues. So there is a lot of value in coming to campus and immersing yourself in the culture and in the day-to-day engagement with faculty, with recruiters, with professional development staff that Auburn University provides to you. The on-campus program has an additional benefit that we have graduate assistantship fellowships available that would take care of a big part of your educational expense. Graduate assistantships are competitive, but they do offer tuition waiver full tuition waiver, and a monthly stipend for which you get a chance to work with faculty on research and on projects, and assist them with the teaching assignments as well. So on-campus degree program offers you a very quick, direct, and an in-depth option of earning your graduate degree. The online program format is based around the flexibility that some of our working professionals are looking for. This flexibility is in terms of how many courses do you need to take on a semester basis. Sometimes, work can get hectic and there is a big project or a change at work that requires you to slow down at times. And then there are times during your career where you can speed up a bit. So the flexibility of the online degree program is that it does not require you any specific courses to take. You can take 1, 2, or if you have the time, maybe 3. But most of our students take 2 courses in the online program. That would get you done in about 5 semesters, and that may not be too bad of a timeline in terms of all the flexibility that you have. Online programming format that we have is very tightly coupled with the campus program, and this coupling happens because of the same course content that you will use whether you are on campus or you're online. We at Auburn University believe that online students can be brought into the classroom through direct engagement. So we live record our lectures and class discussions, and those recordings are made available to online students the same day. And then faculty would host Zoom sessions to extend the classroom experience through direct engagement with the course participants and the faculty itself. So the in-class experience becomes very real for our online students because they are engaging with the students on campus, they're engaging with the same faculty, they're using the same lecture content that the campus group is using. So our online program becomes a very tightly coupled campus program, and we tried our best to make sure that you get a similar experience as anybody who is on campus taking those classes in person. In addition to the standalone master's degree, we also offer a dual degree option in which you can combine an MBA degree and a master's degree together. The program structure for a dual degree option allows you to double count a few courses, and that way you can actually save on the expense of up to 4 courses that you can take and then count it towards the MBA degree as well as the master's degree. From a financial standpoint, it certainly helps that your program costs can be cut by 40%. In addition to our degree program, we also offer graduate certificates. If you are unfamiliar with these credentials, graduate certificates are concentrations built across about 4 courses in terms of how you package them. So for those working professionals that are thinking about graduate education and may not be quite ready yet to start a master's degree, a graduate certificate option is a great way to start your higher education. The good thing about the graduate certificate option is that the courses that you will take as part of a certificate will be counted towards your master's degree. So you start off with a certificate program, and then you later decide to start a master's. All these courses will transfer to your master's degree. For our current students who are already doing an MBA degree or are thinking about doing another master's program on campus, graduate certificates are also available to those students as well. That adds to your credential. The great thing about the certificate is that it's a diploma in its own right, just like a degree, though the certificate has a smaller scale of knowledge that you would receive by taking 4 specific courses. We take our student placements very seriously, and we provide all kinds of resources for you to be able to find that dream job at the end of your master's degree program. We have a dedicated graduate career services here in the College of Business that are specifically targeted towards graduate students. In the supply chain management program, we actually host 2 supply chain focused career fairs during the year, one in fall and one in spring. These career fairs attract some very well-known companies and recruiters that come to campus to meet with students in our supply chain management programs and directly recruit them from the university. We typically attract upwards of 60 plus companies in each of these career fairs, so they're very well attended. The companies come to Auburn because they know about the quality of our students. So you will get a lot of support from that standpoint. In addition to these career fairs, we also offer employer engagement events, company informational visits, and site visits that we take a lot of our students to throughout the year. So for campus students, there is an extra value add for being here and engage with all of these different opportunities that the Masters of Supply Chain program will offer. In addition to that, we have dedicated staff that host routine professional development events, and they provide some very close guidance in terms of how do you polish your resume, how do you present in front of in an interview, and all these different professional development activities that you will find very, very useful. We also offer opportunities to our students to get in front of industry executives through industry-sponsored case competitions, and we send our students groups routinely to different practitioners and industry conferences. We also have a very well-known and an active supply chain research center that provides additional opportunities for students, whether they're on campus or online, to engage with faculty and with the center staff to work on projects and develop your skills in an outside the classroom experience. So let's talk about what it takes to get into the master's program. The admission requirements cover a different documentation and different pieces of it. But before I talk about it, let's quickly get our calendars in order. The fall applications are currently being reviewed. So if you're interested in an early admissions case, then we have got the April 1st deadline coming up soon. The early admissions are meant for people that are mostly interested with the on-campus graduate assistantship award. As I said earlier, these graduate assistantships pay for tuition as well as additional stipend. So we need those applications in early. If you just heard about this and you think you would need a bit of time to gather all your application materials, don't worry about it. Make sure that you email Jordan or myself at the end of this session showing interest in this, in the early admissions, and we will work with you to get everything within the deadline or a little afterwards. We will continue to receive applications all the way through July 1st. So between now and July 1st, you can turn in your application for starting in fall. Now, if you're thinking about starting the master's program a little later, maybe in January, the spring applications will close on November 15th with the early admissions deadline of October 1st. The early admissions deadlines are also valid for our international applicants because of the extensive visa paperwork that requires a lot more time as compared to domestic students. So what about the admissions packet, the applications packet? Well, the applications packet is going to be based on a few set of documents. The first one that I will point out is the graduate school application. We have an online system that allows you to complete an online application and that comes with an application fee. In addition to the graduate school application, you would need to upload academic transcripts. For the review, you can turn in copies that you might have from your undergraduate schools, but to make the admissions formal, it would be required later on that you ask your university, your undergraduate institution, to submit those transcripts electronically. We ask that all applicants submit letters of recommendations, at least two, that would be written by people who know you in a professional or an academic situation, maybe your former professors, or maybe people that you have worked with as a full-time internship, or maybe as full-time work experience, who can speak to your motivation, to your skill set, and your work ethics. That's something that admissions committee put a lot of emphasis on to understand the person behind the application. And as far as that aspect is concerned about how do we get to know our applicants in a more closer way, we ask all our applicants to write a one-page professional statement of purpose. This document is like your introduction to the admissions committee through writing about yourself. So I always ask applicants to think about the motivation that they have for pursuing graduate education. What are your good professional goals after you finish the degree, and what goals and expectations that you have from a master's of supply chain degree that would help you in your professional and educational goals. As you can imagine, our supply chain curriculum is very industry focused, so we give a lot of value to people who have had work experience. Your work experience doesn't have to be specifically in supply chain directly, or if you have been working in a company or in a role which has given you a lot of interaction with supply chain management functions within your company, or you have worked with clients or service providers that has given you a good insight about what supply chain management is. The admissions committee would like to hear about those experiences through your professional resume. So do turn in a current and a detailed resume that highlights your supply chain connections and all that you have been doing in terms of your interest in supply chain management discipline. We also ask our applicants to take GMAT or GRE standardized tests. Now, oftentimes we receive questions about the tests and say, are there waivers available for it? So let me address that question. The GRE and GMAT tests, they are there to strengthen your application. Sometimes we feel that our undergraduate academic credentials do not fully reflect the standards and preparation that we might have had. And we need some additional support to tell the admissions committee that they need to look beyond those lower GPAs maybe. And in those cases, GRE test scores and GMAT test scores become a additional evidence that you're better than maybe the undergraduate transcripts might reveal. So we do offer some waiver conditions on a case-by-case basis that relates to your GPA and your undergraduate GPA and a relevant work experience that might substitute for a lower academic credential from your undergraduate time. So GRE, GMAT tests can be waived in some cases, but I would encourage you to take that test because it will provide additional information in support of your application and increases your chances of success getting in. When we're talking about admission and we're talking about thinking through all your options in graduate education, there is always the big question about what is going to cost me. And that makes perfect sense because school is expensive and it takes us financial resources and some commitments from your side to be able to complete the degree. So here on the screen, you're looking at the current tuition and fee structure for our online and campus programs. You would notice that our online master's program is roughly around $29,000 for the upcoming academic year. The campus program depends on the resident tuition and non-resident tuition, and it can range anywhere between $27,000 and $62,000. Now, the campus programs may seem a little bit more expensive, but remember that we offer graduate assistantships that provide for tuition waiver, which is actually a big part of this, the cost for the campus program. So if you're thinking about doing a full-time on-campus master's degree, please note that we have some very, very strong and supportive assistantship programs that will help you with the expense of it. But no matter which way you look at it, I think graduate education is expensive. And there's got to be a reason for you to invest your savings and the financial resources that takes to earn a master's degree in supply chain. And that's where I think I'm very sensitive to it, and I'm sure you are thinking about it all the time as well, is what's the return on this investment that I will make? And if I'm going to spend my time and my financial resources in earning a master's degree, what can I expect in return? Well, the thing is that when you get your master's degree from Auburn University, which is a well-reputed, very respected, highly ranked master's program, that increases your career potential. And as a graduate of Auburn University's supply chain master's program, you would find many opportunities to grow your career with lifelong ability to increase your return on investment. There's a very interesting study that's conducted by a couple of industry associations in supply chain called Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals and the Association for Supply Chain Management. And they do this annual survey of working professionals in the industry. And they try to capture how the salaries are changing over time, and especially for people who have had a graduate degree versus people who may not have one. And you would be glad to hear that on average, a master's degree provides a premium of $25,000 a year in higher median salary. And so if you think about it from that standpoint, the investment of time and money that you will make in graduate education, supply chain management, you would be able to recover that investment in a fairly short amount of time with continued benefits throughout your careers. So think about this a bit more, and I think there is no better time to get into higher education for supply chain management degrees because of where we find ourselves in practice and in the industry. In the past few years, you probably have seen a lot of news about supply chains and how there is a huge demand for qualified and well-trained professionals who would be in high demand coming in the next few years. In fact, these surveys that I'm pointing to is showing that people who are entering the job market are becoming really, really satisfied with their career options, and they're telling other people about it too. So I think it's a great time to get into supply chain graduate education, and the return on investments are very strong for your efforts. This kind of like concludes the preliminary information that I wanted to share with you. I am very interested in hearing from you through the chat box or the Q&A session. Jordan is keeping a track of your questions there. And while you're thinking about additional questions to ask, here is a QR code on the screen that you can scan using your cell phone. This QR code is going to take you directly to a link where you can schedule an appointment with one of our admissions advisors. This appointment can be a Zoom meeting where you get to connect directly with admissions advisors. Many times they invite me or Jordan to come join the sessions as well, and we can have a one-on-one conversation and answer all the questions that you might have. So take your time, please. In the next few minutes, type your question in the Q&A session, and both Jordan and I, we will be glad to answer those questions. While you're thinking about these different aspects that I talked about today, please note that many of this information is also available on our website at Auburn University's Harvard College of Business, where you would be able to get a lot more details that I may not have been able to cover in our brief session today.
So there's one question that just came in that's, for Auburn employees who already have a master's degree, what is the time frame to take the GRE?
If the question is about the GRE test, the purpose of the GRE test scores is to provide additional information about your credentials. So those tests can be taken in time to meet the application deadline, but if that is not possible, we can certainly look at other credentials and provide a feedback or a response in terms of conditional acceptance if your GRE test scores are deemed necessary for admissions.
And there was a question about just the GMAT GRE waiver policy, which I answered in the Q&A. But I'm also going to put a link to our admissions website in the chat box that everyone should be able to see. The waiver policy for what would be automatically granted in terms of a GMAT GRE waiver is on that admissions website. It's the same policy for the online program as well as the full-time program. So in the Q&A and in the chat, there's a link to that admissions website where you can see that policy in full detail. The next question is, are assistantships available for international students?
Certainly, the assistantships are also available to international students. And I know that's certainly a big deal in terms of lowering the expense and the high cost of education in a different country. So if your credentials are strong, I will encourage you to consider Auburn and send in your application. One thing that I would point out, that there is no separate application for graduate assistantships. All applications for the campus program are automatically reviewed for the assistantship award.
Don't see any additional questions coming in right now, but I will add that after this webinar tonight, I will be sending this complete presentation recording out to everyone who's attended as well as everyone who registered. So if you want to watch it again and reference any of that information, you'll be able to do that. Also, when I email that out to you, you'll have my direct email address, as well as I will include Dr. Ishfaq's direct email address. And it's right there as well. So if you have any questions, in that way, you'll be able to respond and ask them. And we have one more question that came in. Are there any courses scheduled during the summer?
So we do offer courses throughout the year, all 3 semesters. So there will always be a course that you can take, either a required course or an elective course. So it's not like you need to take a course and there isn't anything for you to take. That will never be the case. You will always have a course and keep progressing in your master's program. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully you have received additional information. And as you consider your options and think about whether Auburn is the best place for you, I want you to know that all of us here in the Plains are looking forward to connecting with you. Both Jordan, myself, and our other admissions team are ready to respond to any questions that you might have. Please don't feel that you cannot reach us directly. You have my email address there. That's my office phone number. Just pick up the phone or type away a question or a comment and reach out to us. We will be more than happy and excited to connect with you directly about your graduate education plans. Thank you very much. And before you all go, let me give you a traditional Auburn University cheer, which is War Eagle.
War Eagle.